Hey, how's it going, PC team? In this video, I'm going to go over my $14,000 green day, how I've been able to overcome a $5,000 loss right at open, every single trade I took. And also keep in mind, in this video, this is a recording from one of my live streams I did in Power Hour today. Every single day of my masterminds, and we do pre-market, market open, and then Power Hour streams. And then after that, I review every trade I took given that day if they missed it, and allow them to ask questions. So this was a recording done in one of our Power Hour streams later today. If you guys want access to that, all you have to do is comment down below or DM me on Instagram at JB Trades, and I'll respond to you as soon as I can. Alrighty, let's go over our $14,000 green day. Start my short here at 350. We'll add at 330. Move at 3. Here we go, short on the backside of the move. Lemon on the chain with the V cut. 30, orders at 330, getting filled, 329. Yeah, 3 is going to be my first price target, closer to VWAP. I'll probably add on a 1 minute pullback to the upside if it gets rejected by the 9 EMA. Volume is steadily decreasing, which is great. I added right there. I'll be taking most of my profit here in this move. Let's see it dump down to 290, that'd be sick. Filled my order at 305, and the rest is going to go down to 303 and below 3. Took some at 302. The last 25% will be below 3. So with that hidden buyer kicking in, I am step out. Nice.
A great trade.
All right. It was a great trade. So today we're going to go over the $14,500 day I did have trading small cap. We have TPST, OPGN, and NKTX as the 3 trades we took. Now, the first one was TPST actually started my day down over $5,000. And I took a short on TPST out of open. Why? Because there was an obnoxious amount of volume the day prior, around 100 million shares. And pre-market, this time it only had 3 million. Maybe, well, Jason, 3 million's a lot. But if you 10x the pre-market volume, you get what? 30 million. And 30 million does not greatly outweigh the 100 million the day prior. So I thought it would have a lackluster in volume and heavy sell pressure, which it did at open. Now, I added at 650 for move below 6. Here's where I messed up. I added because PC Noah got in earlier, and I started to have a little FOMO. He broke our 2-minute rule, and I waited for a pop to the upside, which I then shorted down here at 630, 640. And yes, I was up just under 10%, but then I had a heavy bounce. And then to make matters even worse, I had terrible risk management because it squeezed into a halt, and I had to cut it at 715. So I lost I had 5,000 shares, I think, or 4,000. I did 5,000, lost about $1 share. That was not great. Terrible risk management, terrible setup. I mean, the strategy just wasn't there. I should have known better that there was going to be another wave to the upside. I simply was just FOMO trading it, if I'm being 100% honest with you. Because, I wanted to trade a big move to the upside TPST, and I didn't get it, and I was too impatient. And had I simply just waited a little bit longer, I would have had a kick-ass trade opportunity from 750 up to 9. But I decided to go in short, and I took a $5,000 loss. And then I said, okay, guys, I'm going to call it a morning session. I'll come back a little bit later. And I had a meeting with one of my mentors, came back. Actually, no, this OPGN trade was during the live stream. You guys saw me take the first 5-minute pullback. I added at 110. And then every time it bounced off of 110, I slowly added more. And then on the 1-minute time frame, when it broke below that wedge right here, I added again at 115, 116. So my average was like 112. And by the time it broke out, I had probably 30, 40,000 shares. And I made about 10 cents a share. Squeezed from 110 up to my average sell was around, 120, 130. Solid trade. Again, first 5-minute pullback. This one had increasing in volume. Check. Held above VWAP. Check. Held above 9 EMA. Check. Had a solid 5-minute pullback that had multiple red candles. Check. And to make it even better, it retested this previous level and it continued way higher. So solid trade opportunity on OPGN. At this point, I was down around 1800, and this is where the big guns came in on NKTX. So NKTX had a catalyst. I don't feel like fishing yet. The one thing about NKTX I didn't like was if we go to Profit Chasers app, you can see if you go to our scanner, go to NKTX, it had a little bit higher float than I would have liked, 34 million, but I'm finding off the higher float stuff, I'm performing better on the short side, such as 20 to 40 million comparative to earlier in my career. So I'm starting to be okay with trading a little bit higher float as long as it has an insane amount of volume. At this time, it had like 60 to 70 million shares. So I'm like, okay, the volume is it already has what 2x to 3x float rotations. Basically, a float rotation is you take the overall volume divided by the float and you get the rotation. That means shares are trading hands quickly and it is squeezing higher. And so basically, all I did was I took the second 5-minute pullback on it right here. As it squeezed out of this wedge, I added with size and it retested again, added again at 319 for push up to 4. I liquidated most of it at 375 because there's some big sellers up here at 380. And I made over 50 cents a share on this one. And I took close to probably 20,000 shares on it as it started to squeeze higher because there was like a $2 million buyer. I mean, just insane buy volume. So I started to add as it squeezed. But where I made most of my money was actually, I think I took 15,000 shares, but where I made most of my money was actually on the short side, which I got it on video. I'm going to roll the tape after I talk about it. But we had the classic 5-wave structure: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now what do we wait for? A drop, a pop, and you guessed it, a short. Now, I said short off of 365 range. The reason I said that is if we take the absolute low of this pullback and the absolute high, the difference in price per share is about 60 cents. So you can expect that the pop to the upside will roughly be around half of the move prior. So I said, okay, from the bottom to top, half of 60, 30 cents. So I added 30 cents a share from the bottom, and that left me at 364. That was a penny a share off. Not bad. So I added my short as it continued to get rejected by 365 here. And then when it made lower lows, I added even more. Breaking below the 9 EMA was the ultimate bear signal. The reason why I loved it was a steady decrease in volume. I mean, look at the backside of that move. It was a decrease in volume. We can see a decrease in price. So everything was just picture perfect about this one. So short of 360, my price target was 3. Now, why was my PT 3? Well, there's a few reasons. 1, that was where VWAP was at. 2, consolidation zone right here. Small consolidation zone, hard to see. 3, psychological level, a $3 whole number. And 4, this descending resistance line, if I were to extend it, it was going to come back out to around the $3 range. So I figured, well, there's probably a good chance of it, maybe finding support, at this descending resistance at around here, the $3 range, which it never ended up doing. Maybe later in the day. No, not really. But, the 3 main points were the VWAP, psych level, consolidation zone, led me to want to trade this. Now, this is where it kind of got crazy, is because I was holding for a sub $3 push for a 20+% gain. I was looking for a drop down to 275 for the rest of my profit, but look how long it held 3. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not even going to count all those candles, probably 20. And I actually stopped out and took the rest profit when it broke above this descending resistance line we had here. So right here, as it curled higher, started to lock in profit. There was a huge hidden seller, and I got this on video. So what we saw here was bid was at 3. The tape was full of red, tons of sellers, and there was no big buyers on at 3. But it kept holding 3, and it actually kept bouncing. And I said, Noah, if this breaks below 3, we're going to instantly see 270. And boy, was I right. We went from 317 down to 270 in 2 minutes. But at that time, I already took all my profit at $3. or 305 as it started to bounce, for a $16,000 gain. So cumulative total from being down 5K pre-market or at open to being up 14 and a half. Main things to look out for are, make sure you're trading the backside of the move. This was a huge thing for me. Main reason was I was trading, pretty poorly last week, or at least I was getting short squeezed because I wasn't checking the volume and trading the backsides of these moves. I kept, there was actually steady or increasing volume as I was shorting, and it's never a good sign. And I got short squeezed. So just wanted to really double, triple check that there was a huge drop in volume. Number one, but number two, it kept getting rejected by the 9 EMA and the 5 minute. That was clear cut confirmation for me that this was going to continue lower. And I decided to short in that area for a 20% gain, and that led me to making what I made on the day. I think TPST was how I can improve on TPST was I was looking for this move to the upside. I think I need to stop simply and solely just using volume-based prediction theories to short. I need to start using them in conjunction with other strategies, such as the continued momentum play. Simply shorting based off of an advanced concept is never going to be profitable. Likewise, if we see a wedge, I talk about the wedge formation, something like this, and we have the stock kind of wedging out, and it ends up breaking out, but then faking out and then reversing, and I usually go short. That's an advanced concept, right? But that's not a strategy in and of itself. So I need to make sure I'm just pairing these concepts with sound strategies and not solely just using the concepts, because I'm going to lose more and more money, like I did today. And then not just doing it solely out of hype, listening to my gut. Obviously Noah's a good trader, but Noah also got in on that short way earlier than I did. And the 5 minute pullback I liked. Only thing I didn't like about it was I wish it had a little bit more volume. I was only able to maximum take $20,000 to $30,000 position here. If each of these candles had double the volume, it probably would have had double, the position size. I'm really only taking maximum 1% of the 5 minute candle's volume. So right here, 9,000 shares. Right here, 14,000. Right here, 20,000. Which that sounds great and all, but ultimately on a $1 stock, that's not a ton of money. Especially when at this point it's very overextended. So really, when I saw this 5 minute candle, these 5 minute candles, I'm like, shoot, I maximum can add. You combine this for about 3 million. Divide that or multiply it by 0.01, and you get 30,000, and that was the position size I was able to take, which was kind of unfortunate. Another thing is this was a dual setup. The reason why I like this one was it was not just the first 5 minute pullback, but it also was a continued momentum play based off of yesterday's high. You can compare both setups with a setup of its own. So we're trading a continued momentum play, but there's also a 5 minute pullback happening at the same level. That's called dual setups, and your win percentage will increase by about 15% if you have a dual setup. And this was one of them. So that's why I was very bullish on it. Obviously, yes, it did retrace a lot, and obviously, yes, it traded off with not much volume, but I was willing to take it with lighter size. I did not short this one. I felt that there wasn't enough short opportunity. It was only up 30%. That the reason why I shorted NKTX was at one point it was up 150 to 200%. So it made sense, and there was a lot more room to give back. But really, those are the only trades I took today. Those are the notes I have. Do you guys have any questions based off of the setup, based off of why I traded them, or anything like that?